everybody should know, basically what happened at her public school with Eileen, she saw Jimmy getting picked on, and she went up and said, hey, please don't do this. This isn't the right thing to do. We don't do this to our friends. Boys turned around, they said some bad things, and they attacked her. 5 fifth-grade boys. She was in 2nd grade. She got beat up badly. I was never called by the school at all. This was at lunch recess that this happened. When I got there to pick my daughter up 10 minutes before the end of school, I saw the principal actually walking my daughter to the class. My daughter had bloody knees, and she's limping to the classroom. I didn't know what had happened, so I walk up, what happened? The principal tells me we had a small incident at school today. I said, well, this doesn't look small. My daughter fell to the ground, she was crying. This is horrible. Can you please tell me what happened? You know, I don't know all the details. There were some boys involved, isn't it? My daughter started to tell me what had transpired. I asked him, was this true? Why wasn't I called? He said he didn't call me because he thought the nurse had called me. The nurse had never called me. I showed him my phone. And basically, from the gist of it, the school was trying to cover up a lot of what had happened with her. They didn't want to take responsibility for it. And I just feel that my daughter went through so much pain and suffering because of that. If they would have nipped it in the bud in the beginning and dealt with the situation and the children, this wouldn't have happened again, because it continued to happen 4 more times. She got beat up, she got bullied, she got in our school, in our elementary school. It was ridiculous. So I just thank you for your support, and hopefully we can stop it, because it's a really sad thing. My daughter has been through so much pain and suffering because of that.
Tell them what the principal said about why can't she just play with dolls in the dollhouse.
The principal just, he wasn't, I don't feel, my personal belief, that I don't think he was doing what he should have done. He went into her class and actually started questioning her about it during regular class hours, when I told him not to question her without me there.
In the classroom?
In the classroom, in front of the teacher, in front of all the other kids.
And what excuse did they have for not calling?
When I went up to him and asked him, why did you do this? He threw up his hand and said, I don't need this, and walked off. Seriously.
When I was there, I saw it.
It was sad.
See, he doesn't need to explain himself as a principal of an elementary school.
Right.
For not calling a parent after their child gets beaten up.
Right.
On school grounds.
Right. On school grounds.
He doesn't need it.
Does anybody have any questions?
She does. What happened to the boys?
From what I understand, they wouldn't release all that information to me, but from what I overheard, the principal talking to somebody else, he said that one of the boys got 1 day suspension. That was it. And then they tried turning it on her like it was her fault, like she instigated this. And
How long ago did it happen?
it happened at the end of the last, at the end of the last school year, which was her 2nd grade. Now she's in 3rd grade. It got to a point to where the school was twisting things around with me so much that I had to pull my daughter out for her safety. Actually, she got beat up so many times that I have doctor's reports, I have police reports. Finally, I went to the principal. I said, this isn't cool. You guys aren't doing anything. Can you please do something about this?
They wouldn't let Miko launch the kids up.
We went and volunteered, tried to volunteer. They wouldn't let us volunteer. It was a lot of problems. I called the superintendent's office. I never got a call back from them. There was a lot of issues that just went unsolved, and it was really sad.
What can people do to add a little bit of light to the situation and to see that the right things are done at this point and are being addressed?
If they educate the teachers, not just the teachers and the children, but the principals and the higher ups, to let the teachers know that they can interact with the kids and help them instead of being afraid of losing their jobs and not doing anything to help that child. The teacher's defenseless against the principal. She's going to do whatever the principal says. My daughter's teacher actually came up to me and told me about the interview that transpired with the principal in the classroom. She said she didn't advise it, she didn't like it, but she couldn't do anything about it because the principal's her boss, and if she said anything, she could be fired for it. So, it's really sad. Yeah. So education with everybody, with the uppers, like hopefully the governors, the mayors, the principals will all to get together, the area superintendents, the main superintendent, and they'll say, hey, you know, if this happens to a child again, we're not going to sweep it under the cover. We're gonna nip it in the butt. We're gonna deal with the situation. We're gonna get these kids. We're gonna get the parents in a meeting all together, and we're gonna talk about it, and we're gonna fix it. Instead of saying, you know, oh, this didn't happen. Like when they went into my daughter's classroom, they told my daughter that she wasn't telling the truth, that they don't believe that this happened to her. It was really sad. They didn't even give her medical attention one of the times she got bullied. I went up to her at the end of school. I went up to the substitute teacher. My daughter had this was a different time. She had skin knees with blood on it. It happened at lunch. And all the other things that happened prior. And I said, why? You know, my daughter came up to me and she said she wouldn't let me go to the nurse's office. So I had to take her to the doctor. But I asked her, I said, why didn't you take my daughter to the nurse's office and get her treatment? She's a child. And she told me, it didn't happen in the classroom, it happened out on the lunch recess field. I'm not responsible for what goes on out there. Whatever happens in the classroom, I'm responsible for. So I told her to sit down. And I said, really? You really did this? You didn't go to the nurse because of that? I go, she's a child. If you see blood or an injury on any child at the school, you're a teacher, you have a responsibility to bring her to the office, to bring her to get medical attention. She said, I don't know what to say. So I asked her, where's the principal? I'm going to tell him right now. Went up to the principal, I told him, he said, I'll look into it. I never heard another thing about it again. So it was upsetting. This is her psychologist, my daughter's psychologist, Richard Sawyer. You want to come up here, Rick? He's probably better to talk to than me.
Yeah, it's interesting that they don't protect the kids and they can suffer from traumatic mental injuries as well as physical injury in the form of traumatic disorders and reliving the incident. And it's very important that we protect our children in our schools. I don't think anything is more important. It really reduces their ability to learn and concentrate, and the educational advantage of school can be overwhelmed by the social disadvantage of bullying. So I'm really proud of Sean and very proud of Eileen for standing up against bullying in the school.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Doctor. And thank you everybody for coming and all your help and support. You guys are awesome. There's food over there if you guys want. Love